Oh, it's you talking now.
Oh,
I'm out of here.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is that good sound?
Awesome.
Because I can't hear myself, so. Excellent, thank you. So welcome. This is Channel Your Passion, Live Your Dreams. My name is David. Thank you for being here. The talk I'm about to give is a very personal one, very much a way that I'm living from. So for the next 40 minutes, I'm going to start off by telling a little bit about where I've come from to where I am, so you can kind of see how I'm implementing the stuff written here. And then I'm going to go into each principle. Now, you're obviously all here for different reasons. Some of you, maybe you're interested in the name of the talk. Some people, maybe you've got a dream you're already living through and you'd love some help in how to do that in a better way. Maybe you're just here because you want to sit down and have your food. Whatever your reason for being here, I'd like to invite you to just listen in a different way than maybe you were going to. So, you know, I've been to many talks and you come and sometimes you hear some interesting concepts and then you go away and they kind of disappear and evaporate. But what I'd love for each of you is for you to pick one thing from this talk, whatever that may be for you, I can't know, that you will go and implement and use to make a difference in your life. Because everything I'm sharing here has pretty much transformed my life and the life of people that I coach, because I coach people to face their fear and live their passion. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. And so, what I invite you to do is to hold a question in your mind throughout this. And the question is, how can I use this? Because I don't want to just say theory. I want you to think about how you can actually start doing something with it straight away from when you leave here the next few days, you know, so it actually makes a difference to you. Because I know that is possible. Many times I've had one insight that I've taken action on that has changed everything for me. And I'd love you to go away and have that for you. So, with that in mind, I want to give you a snapshot of what life was like for me a few years ago, just to kind of show where I've come from. Well, for starters, I had really bad social anxiety. So even talking to a group of, say, 3 or 4 of my friends, I actually used to get really nervous and anxious. And at its worst, I had to run off and be sick. I had really severe panic attacks. That's how bad it got for me. And obviously standing here in front of you guys, I've obviously moved on from that. Now, I'll give you a snapshot of a day in my life, the way it used to be. So I used to work in a warehouse. I had a little office, like a blue shed, and I used to do data entry. So I'd get into my job, I'd have a big stack of paperwork, and I'd just spend all day tapping away on the computer. And that was okay. And if the phone rang, I'd try and avoid it if I could. I'd try not to answer it, because I didn't want to talk to anyone. I'd try and avoid people when I'm going to the toilet or going to lunch. You know, I'd very much isolated myself. And that was good, you know, that was a good day for me if I could do that, because it was peaceful. And at the end of the day, I'd go home and I'd stick on the telly or watch the DVDs, and that pretty much do that till about 2, 3 in the morning, get up and start again. And that was kind of like a good day for me. That was when it was at its best, when I wasn't freaking out. Now, obviously a few years since then, what's it like for me now? Well, I could be coaching someone, I could be running our meetup group. My girlfriend actually has been very inspirational to me, and she always gets us to do kinds of challenges, which I love to do now. In fact, this year we did the electric run. Anyone here done that? Yes. So you started at 9 o'clock at night. You dress up in a luminous gear, so it's pitch black. You get painted in a luminous paint, and then you do sort of a 5K run. It was a lot of fun. Really silly, right? And her son and her thought it was a great idea to have me wearing pink wristband, pink headband, had flowers painted all over my face. I mean, you know, it's not how I normally look, as you can probably tell, but it was interesting. The best thing about it though, when you were there, right, there's 5,000 people, right? It was like everyone's looking ridiculous. On the way back to East London though, when I was on the train on the way home, it's a little bit different. And I was kind of the only guy on the train dressed like that, and I got some very, very strange looks. It was very uncomfortable, but a lot of fun anyway. Something else we've done actually, which we're doing again tomorrow, is the colour run. Anyone know that? Now come on, how much fun are you doing it tomorrow? Great, we'll see you there. Now that is a 5k run as well. At each zone they've got this powder and they throw powder at you, like the Holly Festival in India. And you get coated in all different colour powder throughout. And it's just silliness. I mean, the sun started to roll around on the floor, and so we did. You know, it's about having fun and being silly. And not really caring what anyone thinks of you. It's really important if you want to live a life of passion and life of your dreams. It's very important. So this silly stuff matters. Now, so what's my life like now? Well, it's full of experiences. It's full of spending time with the people that I love. And it's about doing things that matter to me. And hopefully helping as many people as I can, you know, out of you guys. If some of you could go away and transform your life, even a small way, then I've done what I've come here to do. So my life has changed radically based upon what I'm about to share with you now. So if you can remember to hold that question in your mind as well, for those of you who've only just arrived, because we're always asking ourselves questions whenever we're doing anything. We're always commenting inside, right? If you take control of that, then how you pay attention and the results you get can change. So I'd like you to hold the question in your mind of how can I use this? So imagine your life, I'll be sharing stories of myself, stories of people that I coach. But it's not about me or them, it's about you. And so if you think about it in that way, then you're much more likely to go away and change something for yourself from today. So fear unlocks your future. Does everyone here have an experience of fear, of being afraid? And what I've found out is that the reason we're not doing everything we want to do in life is because we're holding ourselves back. We are the only people doing that, by the way. It's nothing to do with circumstances, it's nothing to do with anything except our perceptions and what we're willing to do. And fear is a huge driver. Now, I used to have a very bad relationship to fear, as I told you, with social anxiety and panic attacks. Now, my problem was thinking the anxiety was a problem. I used to think the anxiety was a bad thing, when actually fear has evolved for millions of years and is extremely perfect in its action. Now, operationally, I like to think of fear in two basic ways. One is danger fear. Now that is, you know, you're walking in a dark alley at 3 in the morning and your body's screaming at you to get out of there and it's saying, don't be a bloody idiot, get out. It's quite useful, right? It stops you dying. It's very, very effective. Now the other type of fear, which I can call for everything else, is awareness fear. Now that is just literally what I've said, awareness. So you enter a new situation and your body is like screaming at you. It feels like danger fear sometimes, you know, it's very confusing, but the messages you're getting are much more complex. You know, in fact, for me, I gave a talk a few weeks ago at the BBC for their staff. You know, it's quite prestigious, you know, I had it looked in for months and it was fine. 10 days before, I started to freak out. I started to get this gripping feeling in my heart, like it felt like it was being squeezed. My chest was tight, my throat was tight, my head felt like it was in a vice. It was excruciating. And I'm frustrated, you know, I help people face their fear and live their passion, and yet I'm still afraid. What's that all about? And it really annoyed me. So I was talking to my coach about it before, and as he got me to explain what the fear was like, I was telling him about how frustrated I was, and about, you know, that I shouldn't have this anymore, I should have evolved past this. And that was the key. It wasn't the fear that was the problem, it was my frustration around the fear. So fear works, right? It comes in, you get this feeling, strong feeling, and it inspires you to action. You take action, it's done its job. What I was doing was bottling it up. You know, as if you've got a bottle of fizzy drink that you've shaken up and put your finger in. And my frustration was holding it in place. You know, it wants to burst out, but I wasn't letting it. That was where my pain was coming from. And so then we devised a question for me to ask myself. And the question was, am I willing to learn to love excruciating pain by experiencing it? And I know it's a weird question, but my answer is yes. So I want to evolve, I want to grow. And so my answer was yes. And as soon as I answered that question, it was like I took my finger out the bottle, it released and then settled. And everything changed, and I started to feel good. It changed that fast. Now, interestingly, the reason I came to that was because of the guy who arranged the Life World Hub, a guy called Richie. Now, he doesn't know this, but he has inspired me because for most of his life, he's had a lot of pain. From the age of 2 or maybe younger, he's been ill with one thing or another. So his entire life, he's had to experience pain. And I was trying to interview him a few weeks ago for a seminar that he was doing. And during the interview, every time he talked about pain, he just lights up with joy on his face. It's really weird. He's experienced pain for so long that he's actually connected to it in a different way. He sees the joy in it and the gift that it gives him, which I know sounds a little odd, and it is odd when you see it. But I was trying to get him to to connect, because the way I see it, when people are watching an interview, if you can't connect with that person because they're so far removed from you, it's hard to then realise that you can do it too, isn't it? But I'll tell you what, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I got him to talk about the things that were most painful to him, he couldn't react. He just, every time he talks about it, his whole body lights up and he's got this look of joy in his face. That's his relationship to pain. And that's the kind of relationship I want to feel. It took him years. So if I'm willing to wait years for that, damn right. Because it's worth it, right? Something worth doing is worth to keep doing. And so, awareness fear, it's very, very useful, but don't confuse it with danger fear. Find out the messages that it's giving you. Really, what is it saying? Don't let your thoughts spin round and buzz in your head. Write them down. I mean, for me, it was saying, are you good enough? Are you able to do this? Can you deliver it in a good way? Will they listen to you? This is all useful information, right? If you're giving a talk to someone like you guys, I need to think about that stuff and think about how I'm delivering and the messages that I'm giving. And so that's damn useful. And too often we try and ignore the pain, ignore the fear, and try and push it down. Positive thinking people do, don't, get rid of the bad thought, put the good thought in its place. No, because in the bad thoughts, there's no bad thoughts. The thoughts are there for a reason. Now, at the end, my girlfriend's son's going to give you some handouts, and within that, one of the pages will be a fear list, and it's for you to take away, and it's got some sentence stems, things like, I'm afraid that, or I'm scared of. And so if you take the time, and you write a list of all your fears out, and then pick the one you think is the thing holding you back most, the thing that interferes with the thing you want in your life. And every day for a week, you do a little something towards that. It doesn't be anything too aggressive, just something small towards that. If you do that for a week, by the end of that week, you will have a different experience of that fear. It will feel different. Now imagine if you do that for everything you've got for a year. What difference might that make? And some of you being here may not have a dream yet. You may not be in a place where you can think that far ahead. The great place to start is about finding what you're afraid of. Because the thing you most want in life is hiding behind your greatest fear. And it's really important to become friends with that fear because it has a useful message for you. Fear is wonderful, it is powerful, and it is probably one of our greatest gifts. Don't crush it down like I used to. It only ends badly.